illustration from a manuscript, a burial jar, a piece of bone. More than just objects in a museum or a history book, these speak to us today perhaps more urgently than in times of their creation. In this season, Dayaw explores the objects and manuscripts that form a puzzle. One that challenges our own conceptions of who we are and what our purpose as a nation is. All are vital clues in our continuing search for our knowledge, our pride. In September 2018, the prestigious Leon Gallery offered for auction a selection of manuscripts related to the Katipunan and the Philippine Revolution of 1898. Among these was a document purportedly written by Andres Bonifacio himself.
So the most important document, symbolic of our political life, is Andres Bonifacio's Decalogue, or the 10 Commandments of the Katipunan, which was really a signpost of how to have a free and strong nation. According to historian Ambet Ocampo, Andres Bonifacio's Decalogue was actually written in his own blood. And that is how important it was to spell out the duties and responsibilities of every Filipino as a citizen of a strong nation. Well, this is from the collection of Epifanio de los Santos, who was the first director of the National Library, and at the turn of the century was tasked with finding all of the documents, the written symbols of the Philippine Revolution that would tell the true story of what happened between 1896 and 1897. This is from his personal collection. The membership documents are the actual expression of that ideology, which was to join up, fight, and serve. Third was to portray the Filipino, and this is a constant theme in all of the symbolisms, that we were the equal of any other nation in the world. So the Decalogue symbolizes the inspiration or the theoretical, the ideological background of the Philippine Revolution.
While the auction of such important historical documents may be viewed with some skepticism, it at least awakened an interest in the writings of our revolutionary heroes. What were the decalogues or decalogos? Why were they written? What did they contain? Most importantly, how do these manuscripts give us a glimpse onto the ideal of nationhood that our heroes strove for? The auction is long over, and the precious originals are in the hands of collectors. But the heritage of words, the legacy of ideas will always be there for us to study. They date to over 100 years ago, but surely they must still have something of importance to say to Filipinos, especially today when our nation must come to terms with its own fragmented, divided soul.
Remember that the time of the Philippine Revolution, and before that, the time of the propaganda movement, the time of reform, Masonry also came in the picture. And a lot of our revolutionary leaders were actually Masons. Andres Bonifacio was a Mason, Emilio Aguinaldo was a Mason, Apolinario Mabini was a Mason. And in Masonry, they have what we call the Programa Masonico or Código Masonico. And these are the set of rules that are coded, like this is what you should do as a Mason. So, in many ways, they were inspired by this. But there's another, of course, inspiration to that which is more obvious. we were referring to the 10 Commandments of God. And in many ways, the people are familiar with this because the Spaniards were teaching this in the churches. So, in order to invite people to come to the Katipunan, to join the Katipunan, or to believe in the ideals of the revolutionary movement, you have to put it in such a way that the people will be familiar with. So, you have the template already of the 10 Commandments. Now, if you put that this is the 10 Commandments of the Katipunan or the 13 Commandments of the Katipunan, this would be easily understood by the people. So, you rather have a decalogue that will show everything, every belief that the Katipuneros would have, and in many ways, their vision as a people.
We begin our discovery of this legacy of ideas with excerpts from Emilio Jacinto's Kartilya ng Katipunan.
The Kartilya ng Katipunan goes with a document that says, Katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan sa may nasang makisanib sa katipunan ito.
Kartilya ng Katipunan ni Emilio Jacinto.
The first one says, ang kabuhayang hindi ginugugol sa isang malaki at banal na kadahilanan ay kahoy na walang lilim kundi man damo makamandag. This is actually coming from Jose Rizal. The character of Jose Rizal's novel El Filibusterismo said this. So basically it says here, if you're just living for yourself, your life is useless, or even it's dangerous. You're destructive. So you have to have a cause which is greater than you.
Maitim man o maputi ang kulay ng balat, lahat ng tao'y pantay-pantay. Mangyayaring ang isa'y hihigitan sa dunong, yaman, sa ganda, ngunit hindi mahihigitan ang kanyang pagkatao. Mas pinahahalagahan ng taong marangal ang kanyang puri kaysa pansariling kapakinabangan. Sa taong tampalasan, inuuna ang sariling pakinabang. Huwag mong sayangin ang panahon. Ang yamang nawala ay maibabalik, ngunit panahong nagdaan na ay di na muling magdaraan.
What Jacinto did was to mix enlightenment ideas of reason, enlightenment, they're all here, equality, but also he made them look like kasabihan. So he was basically indigenizing concepts, making them closer to the people, so that they can be easily understood.
Hindi makikita sa pagiging hari ang halaga ng tao. Hindi rin sa tangos ng ilong at puti ng muka. Ni sa pagiging pari na kinatawan ng Diyos. Hindi sa taas ng katayuan sa lipunan. Totoong tao at mataas na uri, siyang laking gubat at walang nababatid kundi sariling wika. Yaong may magandang asal, may isang salita, may dangal at puri, yaong hindi nagpapaapi at hindi nang aapi, yaong marunong magmahal at magmalasakit sa bayang kanyang sinilangan.
An interesting point is made about the way Jacinto enjoined the Katipuneros to treat women.
Ang babae, huwag mong tignang isang bagay na libangan lamang, kundi isang katuwang at karamay sa mga kahirapan nitong kabuhayan. Gamitan mo ng buong pagpipitagan ng kanyang kahinaan at alalahanin ng inang pinagbuhat at nag-iwi sa iyong kasanggulan. Some feminists might frown to the idea that it was said here na kahinaan ng babae. You have to understand that that's how they understood physiology at that time. But still, the aral is not diminished. If you look at it, ang babae wag mong tingnan isang bagay na libangan lamang is telling the men not to treat women as toys or as things, and that you have to think of your women folk, your mother and your sister, if you want to, do something against women. It's kind of traditional, but it's also revolutionary.
In Andres Bonifacio's Decalogue, he incorporated elements of his own Masonic beliefs.
10 utos ng mga anak ng bayan ni Andres Bonifacio. Una, ibigin mo ang Diyos ng buong puso. Ikalawa, pakatandaang lagi na ang tunay na pag-ibig sa Diyos ay siya ring pag-ibig sa tinubuan. At iyan din ang pag-ibig sa kapwa.
So, love of God, love of country, and love of fellow men, they always go together for Andres Bonifacio. It is love of country to be the best that we can be. Pag iniibig mo ang kabuhayan mo at nagbibigay ka sa pamilya mo, ay iniibig mo na rin ang bayan mo. Dahil pag nagbibigay ka sa pamilya mo, when you are contributing to our economy, that's also your contribution to nation building.
Ikatlo, itanim sa iyong puso na ang tunay na kahalagahan ng purit kaginhawahan ay ang ikaw ay mamatay dahil sa ikaliligtas ng inang bayan.
Bilang pagunita sa buwan ng kalayaan, malugod kong binabalita na ang maaram ay mapapanood sa PTV4. Narito po ang schedule ng airing ng 5 episode ng Season 1 ng Maaram. Abangan ninyo ito. Ito po'y para sa ating mga guro at mag-aaral at lahat ng Pilipinong naghahangad na mapalalim ang kaalaman sa katutubong kultura. Ito po si Loren Legarda, nagpupugay sa lahat ng mga maaram sa malayang Pilipinas.
Mabini, El Verdadero Decalogo expounds on the idea of religious freedom, a radical idea at the time.
First, love God and your honor over all things. God as the source of all truth, all justice, and all activity. Your honor, the only power that obliges you to be truthful, just, and industrious. Third, develop the special talents that God has given you, working and studying according to your capabilities, never straying from the path of good and justice in order to achieve your own perfection. And by this means you will contribute to the progress of humanity. Thus, you will accomplish the mission that God Himself has given you in this life. And achieving this, you will have honor. And having honor, you will be glorifying God.
That time, religion was being imposed on you. You see? Religion, it said, this is the real religion. If you do not follow this, you're going to be excommunicated. But Mabini was saying, no, you have to follow your conscience. You have to have religious freedom. Mabini was telling us, we should develop our strengths. Meaning, if this is what you're very good at, you should develop it.
Strive for the happiness of your country before your own. making her the reigning influence for reason, justice, and work. If your country is happy, you and your family will also be happy.
This is beautiful because in the film General Luna, we are asked to choose bayan o sarili. According to Mabini, you should choose bayan because if you choose bayan, you're choosing yourself because the kagalingan ng bayan is the kagalingan of everyone.
What strikes me most about Mabini's Decalogue is how he imagines God, country, and self as interlinked and indivisible. Each one owing allegiance to the other, nurturing the other, and being nurtured in turn. In this day and age, when we have segregated and compartmentalized these concepts, how radical Mabini's ideas seem. This interconnectedness is evident in the reading of Mabini's 10th commandment.
The 10th Decalogue closes with, we should look at the other person as a fellow man. Because anyways, your kaginawaan is his kaginawaan. His dreams are your dreams. And that we should take care of each other.
Always look on your countryman as more than a neighbor. You will find in him a friend, a brother, and at least a companion to whom you are tied by only one destiny, by the same happiness and sorrows, and by the same aspirations and interests.
So Mabini here is a fusion both of the European intellectual tradition and of the Filipino sensibility and culture. And he fused it and he created a moral code fitting for a republic like us.
Did only the men write their decalogos? Gregoria de Jesus, who was wife to Andres Bonifacio, wrote her thoughts down as well.
This Decalogue is really more personal. It's really about how to develop yourself as a person.
Here is Oriang's Decalogue from her autobiographical essay, Mga Tala ng Aking Buhay.
Una, igalang at mahalin ang magulang, pagkat ito ang pangalawang Diyos sa lupa. Ikalawa, alalahaning tuwina ang mga banal na aral ng mga bayani na nasawi dahil sa pag-ibig sa bayan. Ikatlo, huwag mag-aksaya ng panahon ng di pamarisan. Ikaapat, pagsikapang magkaroon ng anumang karunungan na tumutugon sa kanyang hilig upang pakinabangan ng bayan. Ikalima, ang kabaitan ay alalahaning isang malaking kayamanan. Ikaanim, igalang ang mga gurong nagpapamulat ng isip, pagkat kung utang sa magulang ang pagiging tao, ay utang naman sa nagturo ang pagpapakatao. Ikapito, iligtas ang api sa panganib. Ikawalo, matakot sa kasaysayan pagkat walang lihim na di nahahayag. Ikasyam, kapag napag-ingatan ang kasamaan ay doon manggagaling ang malaking karangalan.
This is a mysterious item for me. Iingatan mo yung kasamaan para magkaroon ka ng dangal. Parang, hindi ba wrong yon? But apparently, eventually, I realized that what Gregoria de Jesus meant was that we all have weaknesses and flaws. What Gregoria de Jesus wanted to, I think, emphasize here is that despite your weaknesses, you should be able to tame them. So when you restrain your weaknesses, that is where true honor begins.
Ikasampu, Sikapin ang ikapagkakaisa ng lahat at ikauunlad ng bayan upang huwag magkaroon ng sagabal ang kasarinlan.
Disaster Watch. Alamin ang mga dapat ilagay sa go bag bilang paghahanda sa anumang sakuna. Maglagay ng tubig na maiinom at mga pagkaing hindi madaling masira. Maglaan ng espasyo para sa first aid kit at survival kit para sa mga hindi inaasahang pangyayari. Huwag kalimutan ang toiletries para mapanatili ang kalinisan sa katawan. Samahan din ang mga damit at beddings na magtatagal ng ilang araw. At para ligtas at may alam, magdala ng personal protective equipment at mga teknikal na gamit. Sa panahon ng kalamidad, dapat laging listo.
A series of readings not with a decalogue but with a poem from Andres Bonifacio. Here is Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa.
Aling pag-ibig pa ang hihigit kaya sa pagkadalisay at pagkadakila, gaya ng pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa. Aling pag-ibig pa, wala na nga, wala. Walang mahalagang hindi inihandog ng may pusong mahal sa bayang nagkupkop. Dugo, yaman, dunong, katiis at pagod, buhay may abuting magkalagot-lagot.
Why, what thing of infinite greatness is this, that all knees should be bended before it, that it should be held higher than the things most precious, even life?
Ito'y ang inang bayang tinubuan. Siya'y inatangi na kinamulatan ng kawili-wiling liwanag ng araw na nagbigay init sa lunong katawan.
Will by boundless grief not invaded be the heart of the Filipino, and will not the most peaceful even rise to avenge her honor?
Saan magbubuhat ang paghihinay? Sa paghihigantit gumugol ng buhay. Kung wala ding iba na kasasadlakan, kundi ang lugami sa kaalipinan.
Ang pagkabaon niya at pagkabusabos sa lusak ng dayat, tunay na pag-ayop, supilang panghampas, tanikalang gapos, at luha na lamang ang pinaaagos.
And its laughing meadows bring back to the mind the memory of the mother.
Hayo na nga kayo.
To hear these words as read by these brilliant actors is a gift.
Buhay ay mapati.
To hear a scholar as impassioned as Xiao Chua expound on their meanings is a gift. Here are our heroes, our greatest minds laying out a code of conduct that would make for responsive, responsible, God-fearing citizens. Their words ring just as true today as when they were first written. Have we listened? Have we tried to live these words? Are we even familiar with this legacy of words and ideas? I fear for schools that will not teach these words, for curricula that will regard these as irrelevant, for Filipino students who may be educated Our our sense of citizenry, our idea of nationhood. What are these without the heritage of words and ideas? This is Loren Legarda, discovering Dayaw, our knowledge, our pride.
Ye wretches who nothing demanded but to live mid sorrows and torments, strike a blow to save your country, since she is our common mother.
Ipaghandog-handog ang buong pag-ibig at
May kapalaran at tunay na langit.